Now let's move on to the next type of renewable energy that we have, that is wind energy. So when we talk of wind energy, what is wind? First of all, we need to know what is wind. So wind basically is a kind of kinetic energy that is associated with the movement of large air masses caused by the differential heating of atmosphere by the sun, irregularities on the surface of the earth, and the rotation of the earth. So you have three reasons because of which the wind is being formed on the earth. Now this wind flow pattern is modified by earth's terrain, body of water, and vegetative cover. So you have three different reasons which are causing a difference in the wind flow pattern. So what is wind and how wind is formed, we know. Now basically when we talk of wind basically is concentrated in certain regions and are variable with time at other given location. So harnessing it as an energy source is dependent on these two factors. The fact that it is concentrated in certain regions and is variable with time at other regions. So in India, basically what happens is that the winds are influenced by the southwest monsoons. So from March to August, the winds are uniformly strong over the entire Indian peninsula except for the eastern coast. And when it comes to September, the wind weakens and only coastal Gujarat and South Tamil Nadu experience wind speeds of 15 to 20 kilometers per hour. So now what happens is during the lean months when we are talking about, the winds exceeding 10 kilometers per hour are found only on the Gujarat, Konkan, South Tamil Nadu and Odisha Bengal coasts. So only four, that is Gujarat, Bengal, South Tamil Nadu and Konkan coasts. So these are the only four coasts where you have wind speeds of more than 10 kilometers per hour in the lean season. The lean season meaning starting from October up to February. So because of these reasons, the wind energy is a variable source of energy. That during the strong months, that is the summer months, you have more wind that is being produced, and because of more wind, the amount of electricity that can be generated using these winds will also be higher. Compared to that, when you talk of the lean months is when the amount of electricity generation that can happen through winds is also going to be less. So now if we look at some of the facts about India and what is happening in India. So first thing that you need to know, the most important point, is that the union government has set aside a target of achieving 175 gigawatt power capacity from clean renewable energy sources by 2022. Now out of these 175 gigawatt power capacity that has to be built, 60 gigawatt target has been set for the wind power. So the present installed capacity of wind in India is nearly 33 gigawatt, and this I am talking about December 2017. As of December 2017, we have 33 gigawatt of power that is being accounted for, and this is basically 10% of the installed capacity. Now, if you look at this point, India is at 4th position in terms of installed wind powered capacity after China, USA and Germany. So India is in the 4th position. Now, the National Institute of Wind Energy has estimated over 302 gigawatt of wind energy power that is available with India, and there are 8 states that it has mentioned as windy states, and these states are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Telangana. So these 8 states have been named as windy states by the National Institute of Wind Energy. Apart from that, if you look at this point, India has achieved the largest ever wind power capacity of additional. Now, if you look at the last point, India has achieved the largest ever wind power capacity addition of 3,423 megawatt in 2015-16, exceeding the target by 44%. So in that case, if you look at the facts, India is very, very serious when it comes to installing the capacity for renewable energy resources, and this data itself is a proof of the fact. So these are some of the things with respect to current status of wind energy in India. Apart from that, now the next thing is, how does wind energy work? How is the wind energy being converted into electricity? Now let us look at the working of how wind energy is being converted into electricity. Look at this diagram. The very first thing what you need to know is that the energy is being created from moving air. So the first thing that you have to understand is that the wind is being created due to moving air, and the moving air is created due to the uneven temperatures between land and air. So what is wind? Wind is basically air in motion. Now it is caused by various factors, and one of the factors is the uneven heating of Earth's surface by the sun. Now because the Earth's surface is made of very different kinds of land and water, it absorbs the sun's heat at different rates. One example of it is the uneven heating that is found in the daily wind cycle. And what is this daily wind cycle? Now what is this daily wind cycle? See, what happens is, during the day the air above land gets heated up more quickly than the air above water, right? Now this warm air over land expands and rises, and since it rises, the heavier, the cooler air rushes in to take its place, and this creates wind. Now what happens at night is something which is opposite of the same. At night what happens is, the winds are being reversed because the air cools more rapidly over land than over water. So when that happens, the reversal of wind will happen. So in the same way, what happens is that the atmospheric winds that circle the earth, are created because the land near the earth's equator is heated more quickly by the sun than the land that is near the north or the south poles. So that is something that creates winds, that produces wind over the earth. So now this wind that is being produced, this wind will be used to rotate the turbines, and now this wind that is being produced, this wind will be used to rotate the fans of the windmill, and by the rotation of the fans of the windmills, it will create some energy, and that energy will be transformed using the transformers which are there in step 2. So the wind energy technologies, they use the energy in the wind for generating electricity, right? Now the mechanical power that is being generated here, that is being converted into electricity. And how it is being converted into electricity? Because of the kinetic energy of the wind. Why kinetic energy? Because there is a motion, and this always, wherever there is an energy associated with motion, that's kinetic energy. So the wind power which is available is proportional to the cube of its speed. The power which is available, it is proportional to the cube of the speed of the wind. So what does this mean? This means that the power that is available to the wind generator, it will increase by a factor of 8 if the wind speed doubles, because if this is 2, this will become 8, it's cube of 2. So now the turbines blades, which they are very similar to propeller blades on an airplane. Now the hub of the turbine is rotated as the rotor blade generates lift from the passing wind. Now this rotating action then turns the generator, and which creates electricity. Now when the wind blows, a pocket of low pressure air forms on the downside of the blade. This low pressure air then pulls the blade towards it, and this causes the rotor to turn, and this turning of the rotor is known as lift. Now this force of the lift is actually much stronger than the wind's force against the front side of the blade, which is called as drag. So a combination of lift and drag is produced, and this combination of lift and drag is what causes the rotor to spin. Now since the wind speed is typically increasing with height above the ground, and this would happen of course due to the decreasing friction with the ground, right? So because of this, what will happen is the wind turbines are mounted on a tower to capture more energy. So if it is, let's say, if it is 30 meters or more above the ground, they can take advantage of faster and less turbulent wind. So what we do is that for the best utilization of wind turbines, they should be placed somewhere where the wind speeds is at least 20 to 25 kilometers per hour, and they are at a height of, let's say, somewhere around 50 meters. This is something which is ideal for us. And the same thing, once we have been able to capture these conditions, this is how the entire working will happen. That from the second stage, there will be a substation which will increase the voltage for transmission over long distances, and then finally you have the transmission lines which will be connected to the grid, and the grid will be supplying the energy or the electricity to everywhere wherever we want the energy to be supplied. So this is how the working of the windmill or the wind energy would happen. Now, the next thing that you should know of is what do we mean by offshore wind power. So offshore wind power is the use of wind farms constructed in bodies of water, usually in the ocean on the continental shelf, to harvest wind energy to generate electricity. Higher wind speeds are available offshore compared to on land. So offshore wind power's contribution in terms of electricity supply is higher. So what is offshore? You are constructing the windmills or wind power stations offshore or in the water bodies. So an estimate, if you see, of the end of 2016, the total worldwide offshore wind power capacity was 14,384 megawatt. All the largest offshore wind farms are currently in the Europe, United Kingdom and Germany. So these are the three areas, Northern Europe, United Kingdom and Germany, which have the largest offshore wind farms in the world. And as of 2017, 630 megawatt London Array in the United Kingdom is the largest offshore wind in the world. So few of the data related to offshore wind. Most important thing to know for you with respect to offshore wind is the fact or is the definition of offshore wind. What do we mean by offshore wind? Then again we come to what are the advantages of wind energy. So talking of the advantages, the very first advantage, of course, it is renewable and sustainable. So wind energy itself is both renewable and sustainable, right? The wind will never run out. It will keep blowing, right? So let's say, unlike Earth's fossil fuel reserves, it makes a very ideal source of energy for sustainable power supply. So that's why this is a great advantage to have. Second is environmental friendly. Why environmentally friendly? And why do we say environmentally friendly? Because after the installation and manufacturing of wind turbines, there will be little or no pollution that will be generated as a result of wind turbines themselves. So the wind turbines produce no greenhouses such as, let's say, methane or carbon dioxide, etc. And that is one of the main reasons why you should call it environmentally friendly. Then the third point is that it reduces fossil fuel consumption. Now, generating the electricity from wind energy definitely reduces the need to burn fossil fuels. And this, since you are reducing the burning of fossil fuels, this will help you to conserve the supply of the Earth's natural resources, that is the supply of fossil fuels, and allow them to last much longer and help them support future generations as well. And then finally, if you look at the next advantage, wind energy is free, right? So unlike, see, the other energy sources, the wind energy is completely free. What you need in place is a technology that would be able to harness that energy. So that's why you can in a way call it that it's a free energy that is available. Then the next one is that it has a small footprint. If you remember the discussion that we had for solar energy has the largest footprint among all the renewable energy sources. Now, it has a small footprint. How? Because the wind turbines have a relatively small land requirement. So, although they can tower high above the ground, the impact on the land at the base is very minimum. The area of the ground above the base of the wind turbine can often be used for other purposes, such as, let's say, agriculture. And very easily you can use the land for agriculture, something which is not possible for solar energy. Then industrial and domestic installations. Now see, the wind energy or wind turbines are not just limited to industrial scale installations such as wind farms. They can also be installed on a domestic scale, with, let's say, many landowners opting to install smaller, less powerful wind turbines in order to provide a part of their domestic electricity supply. So that is something which is possible. Then the next point is, it is a remote power solution. How? Because the wind turbines can play a key role in helping bringing the power to remote locations. It can help to benefit everything from a very small off-grid village to a very remote research station, because wind is available everywhere, so that's why wind can be harnessed anywhere. Then next is, it has a low maintenance. The wind turbines are considered relatively low maintenance because a new wind turbine can be expected to last for at least for some time prior to any kind of maintenance work that needs to be carried out for the wind turbines. Then the next one is that it increases energy security. The same reasons as we discussed for solar energy also, that this is a form of energy that is freely available to you. You need not be dependent on any third country, any second country for the supply of wind energy. So that's why by using this kind of energy, a country can help itself to reduce the dependency on global markets, and thus it increases its energy security. And then one more point that we can discuss as advantage of wind energy is job creation. Now, see, the wind energy has boomed since the wind turbines first became available in the market. And this has helped to create jobs all over the world. Jobs have been created in the manufacture of wind turbines, in the installation and maintenance of the wind turbines. So all these areas are where jobs are being created due to wind energy. One more aspect of job creation that you can talk of is wind energy consulting, where the specialist consultants will be determining whether or not a wind turbine installation will provide a return on investment. So all these kind of things are there. All these, that's why, can be discussed as advantages of wind energy. Now, if we talk of the disadvantages of wind energy, the first and the foremost is the point that the wind fluctuates. So you don't have a perennial supply of wind at each and every point. Maybe for the coastal areas, yes, you do. But wind energy is not a constant source of energy. Because, see, you can say that it is sustainable and it will never run out, but the wind is not blowing all the time. And this can cause serious problems for the wind turbines or the developers of wind turbines, who will often spend a very significant time and money in investing whether or not a particular site is suitable for generation of wind power. And that's why this becomes one of the huge disadvantage that is associated with wind energy. Now the next point is that the installation is expensive. See, generation of electricity from wind may not be very expensive, but the installation is expensive. So, see, you can say that the costs are reducing over time, but the installation of a wind turbine is considered expensive. First, a site survey has to happen, and this site survey will have some money involved with it. Then apart from that, you will have to first erect a sample turbine to measure the wind speeds over a significant period of time. Once you have done that, if you see that, okay, these are adequate, the wind turbines will need to be manufactured. It will need to be manufactured, transported, and placed on top of a pre-built foundation. So all of these processes contribute to the overall cost of installation of a wind turbine. Then apart from that, it can be a threat to wildlife. So what has been widely reported is that turbines pose a threat to wildlife, primarily to birds and bats. Primarily to birds and bats, because of this, what has been seen is that wind turbines are increasing of mortality rate among bird and bat populations, which is one of the major disadvantage associated with wind energy. Then the noise pollution. Now, one of the most significant disadvantage associated with wind turbines is the noise pollution that they generate. A single wind turbine can be heard from hundreds of meters away. Combine multiple wind turbines in a given area and the audible effects are much, much greater. So that's why they are a source of noise pollution.